What's up, guys? Milo here again with another Krpano tutorial. Uh, Funny story. I already had recorded this and I accidentally pressed the cancel button instead of the finish. So I'm gonna repeat it all over again. Anyway, so I might miss some details because it's the second time. Okay. So this is part 3 of my Krpano tutorial series. Build. I'm gonna show you how to create a welcome screen. So what do I mean by that? Something like this. So when you open the tour, you see a logo and some instructions like how to navigate. So usually, well, what I do with mine is I have two sets, one for desktop and another for mobile. See. So for mobile, the image changes. So how do I? Let me I'll just close my face. Okay. So what did I do back here? So Chrome has tools which allows you to emulate a mobile. So you just press F12. So right now I am emulating a device. If this is desktop, but if I click this and select a device, then I'm emulating it. So right now it looks funny, but it's not gonna happen because on mobile, this is gonna this is how it's gonna look. So okay, let's try to build that. So this is where we left. Was where we left the tour. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a black layer here with the logo here and the logo. I mean the logo here and the instructions. So to do that, we're gonna put a layer, layer, layer. Wrong section. So so yeah, we're gonna create a layer. So layer, what is a layer? Is basically the elements in the tour. This is a layer. This is a layer. There's another one called hotspot. Hotspot is more on the clickable stuff within the scene. So layers are like boxes floating around here. Hotspot is usually the one that is distorted, like what I showed you a while ago. So this one is a layer. This thing here, this thing is a layer. This one is a hotspot. This is a hotspot layer. Hotspot. This logo here is a layer. This is a layer. So I think you get the idea. So to do that, let's create a layer here. So this is XML notation. If it has children, you just do this. You put the children inside. If it doesn't have children, you do this. Like this include here. This basically terminates it, and you're telling Krpano that this is the entire code. But if it has children, you do this. This is the closing element. So we assign a name. I'm gonna call it intro, and then the type will be container. So if you're wondering what are all those, you can find it in the documentation. So for type, it could be image, container, or text. So right now we're just building the black thing, so it's a container. Keep equals true. This is when you want something to be like a part of the whole tour. I think this one has a better explanation. Yeah, be kept or removed when loading a new panel. So you yes we yeah, it should be true. I don't want to say it. It should be true, and we're just gonna hide it. Width and height is 100% because we want it to occupy the entire space. What's the explanation for width height? I think this is pixels. Width height. So does it say pixels? Yeah, so it could be a number or a percentage. So 100%. So if we save now, we won't see anything. don't see anything. So let's add the background color, black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still nothing. Because we need to add background alpha. Let's say 1. Onk. So yeah, this needs to be a little bit low. So now it's working. I keep saying no. So I keep saying no. So I'm gonna cut that. Stop saying so. You will notice that the black thing is below this layer. So to make it go on top, we add a Z order. This is like the order of things, like which element is on top of this element. So if you assign this a very big number, you're sure it's gonna go on top. So it's similar to a Z index in web design. Okay, so we have this. What's next? We want to add the logo and the instructions. We add another layer. The name is logo. And the URL is, we point to the what in the skin folder, this one. So skin logo. Skin logo.png. And then we're gonna finish, terminate, or close it. Because it won't have a child element, so we can do this. Or if you prefer, you can also do this, though it's gonna be useless because it's not gonna have a child element. Okay, is this gonna work? It should work. So there it is. You need to align it to the center. And then we're gonna make it a little smaller by changing the scale to 1.8. And then we need the instructions below. So I already had this prepared because I just reused these elements here, these images. I built this long time ago. Uh, so let's open Photoshop. So you can see how it looks like. Open in Photoshop. Come on. So I'm just gonna add the dark layer underneath. So this is my desktop instructions. So just make your own and make it look nice. This is my instructions for mobile. Okay, so I already saved that. It's in skin, under skin, together with the logo. I'm gonna add it here. Just gonna copy this code. I'm gonna call it, let's call this intro logo so that we won't confuse it later on with the other elements. Intro guide, and then this is help desktop. What's gonna happen is it's gonna be in the same position as the logo. So what we do is we move the logo up and the instructions down. So to do that, just add y values. So you know what xy is, right? X and y. If at negative value, we'll move this up, I think. Let's try 100. Yeah, or up negative. So maybe 100. And this one would be positive 100. Let's see what happens. 90. If you want to evenly, space this. I don't know, this is this. Because if you're beyond smaller browser, it might not be centered. So it's up to you to, I guess, adjust this. But let's say this is the optimal position. Then let's move on. The next thing you want to do, because so right now, as you can now see, I can still drag the background. it means this layer is not getting clicks. But the logo is, because I can't do anything when I drag it. And this one is getting clicks. So what we do is we try to debug it first. To do that, go back to tool.html and add. So this wasn't here a while ago. So I added this. So once you do that, you will see some messages if you open the console log. So I think I already explained this. So if this is false, you won't see that. So you set this to true when you're developing. But once you're about to deliver this to client, you change that to false. And right now, I just want to see if the click works. To do that, here I add an on click, and then I assign it to an action. So what is an action? So yeah, so it's similar to functions or procedures. There's scripting and programming language. Basically, it's a set of instructions telling Krpano to do something. Chop, please keep quiet. Go back to sleep. Let's call this on intro click. So we can do that. It's the same. If we do this, we're still gonna call that. But just to not confuse ourselves with an actual value with action, I'm gonna put this curly brace, this parentheses, so that I know I'm calling an action. So this is for, how to explain it? In programming, this is a function. XML, Krpano is a bit of a programming language. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm not good with explaining stuff. What we want to do is see if click is working. So to do that, we do a trace. So a trace is for debugging. So it doesn't appear if your console log is set to false. So let's say, let's see what happens. So when we click, something should happen. Oh, what happened? What? How the hell did I open Facebook? Oh, this one is linking to Facebook. So it's not working because this layer is not accepting clicks. So to do that, well, first thing, it should be enabled. But this still not gonna work. It's still not working because it has a special thing for type containers. So this is a container. It says BG capture. Look for BG capture. Capture mouse events on the background of the container element, only available when type container. So for containers, you also have to add BG capture. So if it's not a container, you just need enable to or false. BG capture true will capture the clicks. See, it's not working. So let's try another thing. So right now we have on intro click. Let's add two more actions. Or on logo click. On intro guide click. So guide is click. This one is logo is click. So that you know which one is being clicked. So let's look. We get. Okay, whenever you see this, there's just something wrong with your code. You just try to look for it. The best thing to do that is by deleting stuff until you finally figure out which is causing the problem. So let's see what happens. So this is intro click. Big block. BBC. Big block. Container. Big block container click. BBC click. If you got that. big block container click. Okay. But this one, oh no! Let's, if I do this, we will, oh, it's not assigned, I'm sorry. So first, we need to enable this, the logo and the type. And then let's assign on click like this. Because we just want to see what happens. This is not really needed. So, see what happens. So it's the logo, this one are all capturing clicks. But it is actually useless to capture clicks for these two. But one thing you can do is also assign on intro click with this one. With these two. So everything is big block container click. But in order, if we don't want to capture clicks for this, what we do is we just set this to false. So what happens if we set this to false, it's not gonna capture the clicks. It's gonna go to the background. So if I refresh and click on the logo, it's still clicking the intro, which is the element behind it. Okay, so what do we do now? We want to hide the entire thing. To do that, there's two ways. We can use set or tween. So there's a set here. Let's look at the documentation. Set. This one. And there's tween. So set is basically if you want to change a value of a property. So let's say we want to change the opacity to 0. We can use set. Tween is almost the same except it animates or it dynamically changes the value in a given amount of time. So it's basically animated. So let's try set first. So when click, what we want to do is set layer intros opacity, which is alpha to 0. Magic. So it disappeared, but right now I can't still drag it because the layer is enabled, and what it means is it's accepting clicks. So no, not really. Well, can't explain. Oh, because I removed the tweet. Sorry. Oh, the trace. Yes. So when you click here, it's still accepting the clicks. So what we do after we receive the intro click, we set this layer to enable false. And then we're back to the normal. Yay! Woohoo! That's it. So it's not fancy. Uh, yeah, it just disappears. So instead of doing this set, we're gonna do a tween instead. Tween, let's try to look for it. So here are the examples of the code. So you can either use the default, this changes the width by 50%, or add like your own uh, type of animation. And this, I think this one is duration. So just for the most basic, you just use the defaults. So I'm gonna tween the alpha to 0. This is it. Whoop, whoop. Mm. So yeah, it now looks fancy. But one thing I also did recently was um, I so when you deploy this thing on the web, it doesn't appear right away. So what I did was I added a tween here instead of just showing it right away. Because what happens is the browser still downloads this image, and what happens is it appears pack like that. So I made it, I twinned it into existence. So to do that, let's make the alpha 0 first. Okay, so the image is here. I just can't see it. So there's a unloaded. Let's go back to the layer. So what is this? Action function that will be called when the loading of the layer is done. So once it is loaded, this action will be called. Oh, on intro loaded. Gonna make an action for that. What I'm gonna do is twin these two. But you're not gonna notice this because it's gonna happen right away. Yeah. But if your internet was slow, I think we can. I believe we can do that here. We can make it slow by doing this. So it's replicating a slow network. That's super slow. Mm, yeah, three. Yeah, you hardly notice it. So what I did was I added a delayed call. What is this? So it delays the execution for a few. Depends on what you specify. So here I added a delayed call. You put the time 1 second and put the instructions here. So you can do this so that you don't get confused. And then you what call this indent. So after 1 second, this is gonna get called. Let's try that again. I don't need this throttling anymore. Whoop. So that looks okay. Maybe a bit too long. Let's make it 0.5 seconds. I think that's it. So we already have a welcome screen. But if we switch to mobile, okay, I'm gonna switch to mobile view. It's still showing the desktop. So to show the mobile view, what we do is we create another layer with the same name as this intro guide. But this time point to the mobile. But what's different this time is you add the devices and say mobile. It should be here in the document. Devices. Device attribute defines if the given XML element should be used or skipped on a given device. So this could be mobile or this could be desktop. This could be all. So if I do desktop here, then I have to redeclare all this here. So what happens if I remove this? This means it gets called on all devices, but this one gets called on mobile and just overrides URL from this one. And it's still, this one still uses center, 90, and 1. So let's try. What we did wrong. Devices, mobile, help, intro, guide. Okay, I don't know what I did wrong. It's on a mobile. In help mobile. Something wrong here. I think this. So I don't know why on iPhone X it's not behaving like a mobile phone. Let's try the 6 7. So it's not. So I don't know why, but it's working here for Galaxy. So yeah, if this is clicked, it means you're emulating a mobile device. If this is not clicked, this is desktop. But you have to refresh. So it's desktop. If I click this and refresh, this is mobile. Yeah, I think I think you get the idea. Um, yeah, I think that's it for this tutorial. We came what we wanted to do. We, what the hell am I saying? Yeah, that's it. Yes, I survived. Okay, now I have to click finish instead of cancel. Stupid. Uh, okay, yeah, thanks. I'll create another tutorial after this. I saw requests for floor plans and Google Maps and like hover on logo. We'll try to cover those. That's it. Thanks. Bye bye.